Hello everybody. Welcome to a card class with Stamping with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you. Mostly because it turns out that I found all my cards. And yes, I do mean that. Every time I found one card, I lost another one. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to be here. Last week I was on vacation. It was a week ago that I was in Nashville having a grand time. I actually went to a concert with my friend Michelle. Her husband and son were in a corporate band. What do I want to call it? Anyway, they were competing against other corporate bands, and it turns out that they actually made it to the finals, and that's tonight. So Michelle, sending you hugs. That's actually in an hour because they're Central Standard Time. Sending you hugs and sending Greg and Harden much love. Anyway, thank you for joining me. So today we're going to talk about blooming phrases. This is my card class this week. Blooming phrases is, I believe, an online exclusive stamp set. There's 17 stamps in there. Many fun phrases that would look like you could add flowers to them, leaves to them. I just did some simple cards. Actually, I got this card class as an from Nashville when I went to see all my stamping friends. It was a Creating for Christ event, and I had a grand time. But anyway, let me start by showing you these cards, and I'm going to find out that I don't have everything here, and I apologize. You know me. I'm going to go up to go down, but I wanted to show you the cards very quickly so you know what we're making. We're going to use the Floral Charm 12x12 DSP. I called it the Charming Day DSP. Charming Day is the name of the stamp set that coordinates with this, but Floral Charm, and this is beautiful. So this is one of our one of our cards that we're going to be making. This is our second card. You'll see it when we flip down. It'll be right side up. This is our third card, a very simple card, but very effective. And our fourth card is kind of a fancy fold card. I found it. That's the one that I lost. This is the card that we did. So we're going to make them right now. I have all the measurements for you so that you can make them as well. Let me start by, like I said, flipping up to flip down. And we're going to start with this card first. It's very easy. Okay, so let's go up. Thank you for joining me today. Tell me where you're joining me from. I'd love to hear about your weather. Hopefully it's better than, actually we have gorgeous weather. I was going to say hopefully it's better than ours, but we have gorgeous weather. Let me flip down, and here's our work surface. So this is our first card. It's not exactly a fancy fold card. It's actually more of a fancy cut card, and it's so super easy. So I think I might have cut this wrong, but we'll find that out. Anyway, this card base is 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And basically you're going to score it at 4.25 inches, and you're going to cut off 1 inch. And then you're going to add a strip, which is the B side of this DSP. We're going to do this so you can see it. But anyway, this is our 3 by 5.25 inch strip that's going there. And then we flip that over for the other side. And yep, I did cut it wrong, but that's okay. Anyway, we're going to make do. And when you come to class, I'm going to do it the right way. So anyway, our base here is Pretty Peacock. I love Pretty Peacock. It's such a regal color, isn't it? Besides the Blooming Phrases stamp set, you're going to need some of the dies from the Label Me Grateful die set. The Label Me Grateful dies match the Label Me Grateful stamp set, and you will find good use for that as well. And we'll show you another card with that down the road. But anyway, here we have our card base. And this is, like I said, 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. I just cut off 1 inch off of one side, and that's going to be our card front. And let me show you how this works. So this is 3 inches by 5.25 inches. I just love this DSP. It's got great colors on the back. They're very rich looking colors, very regal, as I would say. We used to have a stamp colors that would the regals, but am I missing? Maybe it's current. I don't know. I can't think when I'm doing, I can't do two things at the same time. But anyway, all I'm doing is attaching this piece of DSP to the front. See how easy that was? we have another piece here. This is basic white, the same size, 3 inches by 5¼ inches. And I'm going to attach that right inside here. I'm going to do it equally distant from the top, the bottom, and the score line on the left. And then we're going to decorate our card. Such an easy card to make. So you could make multiples of these. Get a whole pack of this 12 by 12 DSP and just go to town and have fun with it. So this, like I said, is the B side of this floral paper, and we're going to put it right there. And actually, I'm going to do it right, since I did not do it right there, because let's see, if I close that, yeah, you know what? It's not terrible. I'm going to do it this way. For the class, though, I'll do it right, and it's actually going to be 1 inch by 5¼ inches. I cut mine 3/4 inches by 5¼ inches, and that's going to be okay for today. And that looks like it's upside down. Let me do it right side up. I don't know if there's a right side or a wrong side, but to me, it looks like, you know what? Yeah, it probably would have looked better there. There we go. Okay, this is one of the textured notes dies. It's one of the smaller rectangles, and we are going to just attach that. We're going to pop that up here, but first we are going to stamp thanks, and this is where you're going to see my stamp in action. This, if you're going to put these on the block, I would recommend you lay it down on your surface, just like that. Can you see that? Let me put it more in your screen so you can see me. And then just lay this on top. And that will prevent this from having any kind of curvature that's unnatural, because it's such a long and narrow stamp. It's very easy to get that sort of out of whack. I do want to say too, because it is narrow here, you're not going to want to add too much ink to this, or you're going to make a big mess. I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock ink, and I am just going to hopefully show you my example. I'm just going to tap this. See, I'm just tapping it. I'm not rolling it or anything. And when I do that, I'm going to be able to, I'm going to stand up for this. I am going to stamp the thanks. And it's going to be longer than I need. This is just a 1/2 inch strip of basic white right here. Let me clean this before I get it all over everything. So this is a 1/2 inch of basic white. I have a lot of these strips left over because I save them. When I cut down my pieces 4 by 5¼ I get left with 1/2 inch strips. They're going to be along the bottom, and they're going to be the lengthwise and widthwise. So anyway, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our scissors, and I am just going to snip this at an angle, just like that. Let's put that away for later. And what I'm going to do now is put this, I'm going to pop up this label. So I'm just going to put it right here. I'm going to overlap. I'm not going to put any dimensionals right there, because then my card won't open. And I've done that before. Have you done that before? Have you intended to open your card and realize that you had glued it shut? It's funny at the time until until you mail it that way and realize it doesn't work. But anyway, so I'm just adding some dimensionals. Oh, and I said I wasn't going to get too close to the edge, and here I am getting close to the edge. Just bring it about 3/4 down for the other side. So here we go. I'm just going to put dimensionals like that. And then I am going to just attach this right about here, I think. There we go. No dimensionals showing. That's perfect. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I had already cut some of this DSP. This is one of the DSP patterns. You're going to see this in a second in another card, but this is the back side, and it looks great with these dies. You can give the dies a lot of character just by using the DSP. So because it's a mottled color, it's not a solid, it just looks a little bit more interesting. So we're going to just attach these with just a dab of glue on each side. So thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I'm a little scattered today. That is, as you'll find out, nothing new. Okay, this one I'm going to just tuck under here just a little bit right there. Here, we're going to do it like that. Okay, let me just do it like that. Okay, let me just put some glue on there, and we're just going to tuck this on here. And maybe I should have left a little bit more of an edge on this side, but it's going to be okay because we are going to tie a linen thread bow, and that's just going to cover up any edges. So here we have our bow. I just love tying bows, and everybody knows it. They usually hand me their ribbon to tie. I just absolutely love tying bows. And I'm not half bad at it. Okay, what I'm going to do is hopefully find a glue dot here, and I'm going to attach this. Yeah, we're getting down there. Time to get new glue dots, I think. I always take my bow knot to my glue dot. I kind of grab it like that. Maybe roll it up a tiny bit. There's a couple ways that you can do this, and when I was talking to my girlfriend last weekend, she was saying, let's do it like that. There you go. She was saying that what she likes to do instead of using a glue dot is she adds a dot of glue. She'll add a dot of glue to the stems right there. And then she'll let it dry. And I'm talking just a little dot. She'll let it dry so that it gets a little tacky, and then she will add her bow to that. And it ends up being not quite as big a mess, to be honest. You know, this glue dot is going to be a little tacky and probably sticking to the envelope. But so here we go. We can stamp something inside. I don't have anything to stamp yet, but I will at some point. So that is our first card. So 3 inches for these. This, if you want to do it the right way, cut it 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. 3 inches for the basic white, 3 inches DSP, 1 inch by 5 1/4 for this strip. But it doesn't look bad. I probably could have moved it over a little bit more and it would have looked even better. But anyway, we will do it right for card class on Thursday night and Monday morning. So card number 1, ta-da. If I wanted to, I forgot, I could add some dots. And these were the dots that we had chosen to go with them. Let's add some dots to this. I forgot. That's the first thing that I leave off. I think I'm going to use these dots that look almost a little petunia pop. And we're just going to add them right there. Oh, there's my one that fell off. Use your take your pick tool. Everybody has a different part of the take your pick tool that they like to use. I should tell you, I always use the putty side. Some people use the spatula and other people will use the pointed end. So just find what works for you, but by all means, have yourself a take your pick tool at your table. Maybe we'll just add one more little one just for variety. I don't know, right there. It would show up better on the white, but you know it's there, I know it's there, and ta-da, card number 1. So easy. Okay, let's get on to card number 2. And card number 2 is also easy. Super, super easy. This is card number 2. So what we have here for card number 2 is a basic beige base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 inches. You can see that I never got to my basic white inside, but that's okay. We have a layer. I love the monochromatic look. A layer on layer of the same color. This is also basic beige, and I've embossed this already with the, it's the brick folder. I can't remember the exact name for it. Somebody type it in the comments for everybody, because you probably know it and you're not on camera so that you're going to forget it. But whatever, it's distress brick folder. Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, and I love this folder. I just love all of the different texture to it. All we're going to do is attach this to our card front. So that's the first part. So this is a regular 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. Make sure that you have enough glue on your back, because it has all of the texture Sometimes the glue will go into all of the nooks and crannies and doesn't do a great job attaching. Let me do that straight. There we go. Just like that. If you can figure out what is top and bottom, go right ahead. If you can't, don't worry about it. This is our next layer. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is Petunia Pop, and this is another one of our DSPs. So I would say, I don't know that this, you know, this color is more like the old rose red that we used to have, but it's the front, of course, is definitely Petunia Pop, and this is 3 by 4 inches. So you can get a ton of these out of one sheet of DSP, 12 to be exact. I'm just going to add my glue here and attach it right here on my layer. Now you can choose if you're going to pop up this layer, and then we are going to write our sentiment, and I could do that directly on. I think this one I glued on and then I popped up the sentiment. Let's do it a little bit different this time. Let's pop up the layer and then glue on the sentiment. So that's what we're going to do this time. So put your dimensionals on. You don't have to worry about taking back out off. Let's see if I can spit this out. Sometimes Chris and I have a very similar problem. We know what we want to say, but our mind is ahead of us, so it doesn't come out right. What I wanted to say is I've already taken off these 4 covers. I don't have to take those off if I don't want to. If it doesn't come off, just leave it. We're going to center this in the center of the card, hence the name centering. Brother, I'm out of practice. Okay, this one is another die cut. I cut this again out of Basic Beige. This is again from the Label Me Grateful dies, and it's really, really pretty. You could do this in Mossy Meadow. This one works really well, the same color. And I have to say, this was not my original design, so that's why it looks this way. I would almost even possibly do, I don't know what color this would be. Doesn't that almost look like it could have been Wild Wheat? Wild Wheat would look really good with this. I'm so sad that that color is gone, believe it or not. But you could do Early Espresso, you could do Pecan Pie, you could do Mossy Meadow if you see more of a green here, whatever color you want. But we are going to do this with Basic Beige. Before I do that, let me stamp my sentiment. And I have my mat here, so I can do a good job stamping it. I'm going to use Petunia Pop and the Just Because. Now, of course, you can see that Just Because goes way off of it. Don't worry about that. We're going to center just the part that we can see. And leave a little bit of an edge over there. Now look at the big mess I made. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I don't rock the stamp. I'm also going to stand up. So I'm doing this over top. And let's stamp this. If your mats get dirty, I like to use my a scrap paper there, but you can use some dishwashing liquid, some Dawn, and wash off these mats, and they're going to be clean as can be, just like that. Okay, so that's our second one. What I'm going to do, like I said, let me close up this ink before I get it all over me. Even closed, I will get it all over me. That's just what I do. So thank you, everybody, for joining me and for listening to me ramble. Okay, this is 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. I am, like I said, I left a little bit of a gap so I can put my linen thread there, and I'm going to attach my fern, my Basic Beige fern. I'm going to, like I said, glue this directly on. So I'm going to make sure I put the glue just in the center here. Now, just to let you know, this is my card class this week. You can get this in the mail with an order, and I will put that in the comments after we finish. I know I was supposed to do it earlier, but there just wasn't enough time today. Today's the last day of my vacation. I'm really sad, just to let you know, really sad. Tomorrow I go back to work, but hopefully because I had this vacation, I am going to be just what my patients need again. I haven't been there. I was starting to get a little discouraged. I've lost a bunch of really special patients to me. But now I know that I'm meant to be special to somebody else. So I will go to work and give it my all tomorrow. Okay, there we go. I'm just attaching that just like that. And what I'm going to do is attach a little linen thread bow. So let me do that. I've got my linen thread. I use a ton of this. What we're going to do for this one is a double bow. So I'm going to give myself a length like that. And then what I like to do is take this tail and make a loop just like that. Wrap this around. I'm going to push this through. And then I'm trying to remember that this is the tail that is going to be cut eventually. So these are my bunny ears, and that's the tail. Just kind of play with it until it looks the way you want it to look, just like that. I want that to be a little bit smaller. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting really nitpicky about a bow and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut off the ends, and now I've got my double bow, and I'm just going to attach that right there again with a glue dot if I have any left on my quickly disappearing roll. I have probably had this roll for 2 years, so when it gets to the bottom, all of a sudden it goes really fast. Okay, so there's our bow, just like that. And nice and easy. Really, really easy. You can play with the tail and make it smaller or whatever you want to do. You could do a single bow, whatever your heart desires. And then, of course, this is a Just Because card. I should send this out to somebody. Today is Monday, and I've been challenged to mail a card every Monday. I'm going to challenge you as well. Get a card in the mail today to somebody. If somebody pops in your mind, you will find out that it's usually for a reason. That card probably is meant to go to that person for maybe because they're lonely, maybe because they're not feeling well, maybe there's something going on in their lives that we have no idea. But put a card in the mail to them and let them know that you're thinking of them. This is a great card for that. And you can easily whip up a bunch of these. Okay, that's card number 2. Card number 3 is super easy, and that is this one. We're just going to use a couple of strips of DSP, and we've got our label here. This is another one of the Textured Notes rectangle dies. It's just a larger one than what we used before. We've got our 5.5 by 8.5 inch base of Mossy Meadow. It would have a basic white in there if I'd gotten to it, but I did not. I have 2 pieces of DSP, and they're actually the same DSP, but they're not the same size. They're 2 inches. One is by 4 inches. One is by 3.5 inches. Try to make sure, if you can, I ended up cutting it in 2-inch strips so that my pattern was right side up. This one doesn't show up as much as a pattern as this does. Try to make sure that your pattern for your 3.5 inch strip is going up and down and is not sideways. Otherwise, you'll have to change the orientation of the card, which, by the way, is not impossible. It's very easy. I could easily make my card going this way instead with maybe a circle die cut instead of the rectangle, whatever you want. So if your pattern isn't going the right direction, change the orientation of the card and make it portrait instead of landscape. So this is my 4-inch strip. Like I said, there's an A side and a B side. I consider the solid the B side. I'm going to first attach my 4-inch strip across the top, and I'm going to kind of center it. I don't know. I'm going to center it kind of top, bottom, and left, just like that. Yeah, it's not really centered, but anyway, you get the idea. Equidistant from both sides, and then just a little bit down from the top. Okay, now I'm going to attach this one here. This is my 3.5 inch strip of the same pattern. So let's do that here. And I'm going to do that so that it's equidistant from the top and the bottom. So I'm going to just kind of give myself just a little overlap. This is about the same distance here from the left side of this DSP and the bottom, approximately. So just to make it easy. Okay, let me set this aside now, and we are going to stamp this Thinking of You And I just realized, hang on one second, I think I mixed up, I mixed up the stamps. The happy birthday goes in the next card. Wait till you see that one. That is a fancy fold card. The thinking of you, we're going to stamp it in Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to stamp it right in the center. Where did I put my Mossy Meadow ink? Oh, yes. See? I got half of it right. The next card is also Timid Tigers. You're going to need both the Timid Tiger and the Mossy Meadow ink. So what we're going to do is stamp our Thinking of You on our rectangle. And this is a little bit, this is the, let me tell you what size this rectangle is. It is 3 1/4 by 1 3/4. So if you want to do just a strip of paper, if you don't have these dies, I'm lost without them, but if you don't have the dies, then you can cut that just as you want. Okay, let's stand up and do this so that it's straight. Thinking of You. And now what we're going to use is this stem of the blooming phrases. We are going to use that as the stem for our flowers. Okay. I really did mess up and put these in the wrong box. This goes in that box. There has to be another stamp. This one goes in this box. Okay, this one, keep an eye on this. I have this on my ice cube stamping block just so I won't lose it, but keep an eye on it. This one is going to be the first stamp that's going to disappear. I guarantee it. It's just a tiny, tiny little individual stamp. So keep your eye on it at all costs. I don't know if there is a right or wrong way to stamp this. It's kind of oblong. It's wider in the middle and a point on both ends. To me, I think this is a little bit narrower point. This is a little bit longer point. So I'm thinking that's going to be the outside. And what we're going to do, actually, hold that thought. I'm not going to do that until I put my flowers on, because then I'll know exactly where I want to stamp my leaves. I'm going to use Timid Tiger. And one of the stamps in the blooming phrases here is this stamp. And this stamp is just little flowers. These little flowers are going to be perfect right here at the end. So let me just do that. Just like that. And ta-da, there we've got our flowers. Let me just close up this Timid Tiger before I get it all over everything. And now I can stamp my leaves now that I see a little bit more where I want them to go. So you're going to stamp a leaf. Let me think. I kind of want the flower. Yeah, we're going to stamp it like this. I got to stand up again. There's one. And we're going to do one a little bit further down right there, just like that. I should have angled that a little bit more, but you get the idea. So there we have our label ready to go. And what I'm going to do with this label is pop it up. I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals again. We're going to finish off this by the end of today for sure. Have you ever counted the dimensionals? Are we sure that there's really 100 dimensionals on each sheet? Because I'm telling you, it doesn't feel it. I go through them so quickly. Okay, here we go. Let's put this, that's a challenge for you guys. Let's see. I'm going to bring it right down there and put that kind of right there. And then you know what? We can add some gems if we wanted to. If we're going to add gems to this one, I should have done it to the other one now that I thought about it. And that would have, for this card, if you're going to do it, I'd do the Petunia Pop. They're closest. For this card, though, I could do the blue. Maybe I'm going to do the blue because that's going to match. This will bring out and coordinate the blue with the rest of the card. So I wish there were Mossy Meadow gems, and there are. It's just not, the whole pack isn't going to coordinate with this paper. Let's do one more. Let's do it right down there. There you go. Isn't that pretty? Simple as can be. You can do more. There are other flowers in this blooming phrases. You could do this on the inside. You could stamp, I wonder if you stamp, you know what? Let's try it just for the fun of it. Hang on, let me get a center. I'm just going to do the insert here just to see if it works. I've got these already pre-cut. I go to Staples and have them cut 3 or 4 packages of basic white at a time. And there are many times that they don't charge me for it. I just have to say they're wonderful people. But okay, so we're going to put these leaves on the block, and then I want to see if this, oh no, you know what? There's also stems. I think we're not going to do the leaves. I think we're going to do the stems instead. It looks like it might coordinate a little bit better. So let's do that. I've got 2 here. Okay, obviously the stems will be in Mossy Meadow. And let's see how easy it is to, and I haven't practiced this, so let's hope it works. I'm going to use the Timid Tiger again, and I'm going to stamp these flowers inside. That might be a nice thought. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. You know what? We're going to stamp it, and we'll see if it's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. No, that's not a very good, here I'm telling you, maybe we're going to try this way. Let's try it this way. We're going to stamp the flowers first. It's a bad thing when you can't get things to work on camera. It's very embarrassing. Okay, so we're going to, you know, there's 2 sides of your paper. You can always use the other side. Nobody's going to know. If this doesn't work, then we just won't include it. But let's see. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to see how this is going to line up. Maybe they're not meant to go together. I cannot figure it out. Let's see. I have no idea. Okay, we're not including this. I'm going to practice this, and I'll get back to you how this is supposed to work. I'm going to practice and figure it out. So for now, we're not going to put anything inside, but I will put something on my Facebook page when I figure out how that's supposed to work together. I'm sure it is. Okay, so this beautiful card, done. Let's move on to card number 4. And this one is indeed a fancy fold card. This card, this is our card. It folds flat in our envelope. Oh, that reminds me, where did I put my ribbon that I need for this? I actually wanted to add some ribbon here too. There's the Mossy Meadow ribbon. Let me see if I can find. Okay, these cards aren't going to be quite completed because I have misplaced the Mossy Meadow ribbon. But it is the one that goes with the pear paper. And wait till you see my pear cards that I'm working on for my retreat. And if you live in the area, and even if you live in California and maybe want to fly over here, Rose, my retreat is September 20th. And I'm very excited about it. It's going to be all about fall, and it's going to be a great, great time. So I hope you guys can make it. Hope you've signed up. Last day to sign up is September 6th, I believe. Okay, let's work on this card, and I'm going to show you how this works. I have to do some work on camera so you can see how this works. We have 2 pieces of paper here. These are both 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches long. So you can get 2 out of 1 sheet of paper. I've already done a little prep work. I've already cut out my center circle. We're going to use for that the largest stylish shape die. So you're going to use the stylish shapes dies for your banner. This is the largest, widest one, your largest circle. And then we will get to everything else. I just realized that I did not die cut my little leaf that goes under my flower, but since I can't find the ribbon anyway, that's okay. We're going to use this as the one for the picture, but let me show you how this card goes together. What we're going to do with this is bring in our scoreboard. You've got your Simply Scored scoring tool for this. Oh, I found my ribbon under my scoreboard. Okay, so we will be able to do this. What you're going to do is put this on so that it lies landscape. And you're going to use your scoring tool, and you are going to score each end at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Just like this, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. I find, because I don't like working in the corner here, I'm not going to score that side. I'm actually going to do some math and say, okay, 1/2 inch from 5.5 is 5 inches, just like that. And then we have another one at 1 inch, just like that. And then what I will do is turn it over and do the same thing. 5 inches and at 4.5 inches. I'm going to do that. Okay. You're going to repeat that with your other piece of cardstock, your solid, your back. And we got this. And yes, I should be figuring out which is, I shouldn't be scoring them all the same way, because the way I fold it, I always say mountain in the middle. And the way it's folded is not going to be, so there's going to be a mountain and a valley. So what I should have done, I'm just going to tell you how I'm going to fold it. So let me move this scoreboard. So 5.25 by 4.25 inches. Score each side at 1/2 inch and 1 inch, all 4 of them, and cut out the largest circle here. Now I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and what I'm going to do is bring this back like that. I'm going to do the edges. They're going to be like that. And then I'm going to score this mountain fold. Just like that. Just like that. Be careful when you're scoring so that you don't tear your paper or whatever. I should be doing a better job. Just like this. And we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to fold this in and then fold this back like that. Fold this in and fold this back. And then the next thing that we're going to do, and let me see if I can do it. Yes, I've got a little bit of tear and tape here. I'm going to put tear and tape on here. I'm going to put it on the outside, between the outside edge and the first score line on each side. And you don't have to do it for both pieces, because the other, that's what we're going to attach. So, okay. And this is almost the end. Oh, this is the end. Okay, that is the end of my tear and tape. So make sure I get rid of that. And let's just add a little bit of glue here in a second. Okay, so this is our back. I'm going to add some glue for this final little area. I didn't think it was going to last. But okay, next, this is my back. Next thing I'm going to do is take a piece of DSP. And my DSP is 4 inches tall, because remember, oh, I did it wrong. It's 3.5 inches. Okay, give me 1 second. I kind of tried to wing it without knowing for sure what the measurement was. We are going to, it's going to be, there we go, 4 inches tall, but it's going to be 3.5 inches wide. I thought it was 3 3/4, but it's 3.5. So it's going to be right on the score line, okay? But you're going to center it top and bottom. This is probably one of my favorite colors. I love the peaches. That's more my color. If I had my Color Me Beautiful colors done, people would say that I'm definitely a fall person. These are kind of my colors, although I do look really good in yellow. I don't know if yellow would be considered fall or not. But anyway, there we go. And now what I'm going to do, this is where we're going to attach it, just like this. It pops out like this, but then it folds flat. So let's attach our edges. And this is again where I take your pick tool, the spatula. I go right in the center, and just like that, I can pop up the edges of this tear and tape. That's a little hint for you. Good reason to keep your spatula uncovered. And let me just add a little bit of glue on the corner right there. And we are going to very, very, very carefully line up our edges. Just like that. And this one, again, line up your edges. Just like that. You can use your bone folder to burnish that a little bit better, just like that. And then you see how it pops out, and it's a beautiful picture, or you can fold it flat, just like that. So now we're going to decorate this. And like I said, I forgot the little leaf, but I do have some of the decorations. We used some Mossy Meadow cardstock to cut this little leaf stem, and that's going to go, let's stamp the happy birthday first. We've got two things that we have to do here. So we're going to stamp happy birthday, and this is going to be a little bit more challenging because we have to fit both of these on the square. So kind of give yourself enough room. What I like to do is start with the birthday at the bottom, and then I know I'll have more room at the top for the happy. So I'm going to stamp the birthday. If you wanted to, you could mask this so that it's not going to give you a stem all the way over here. That was what Rhonda's directions were for. I find that it's mostly covered up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So don't worry about if your birthday goes off the edge. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the happy. So I've got the happy all inked up, and I'm going to line it up and try to fit right, I guess like right there. Oh, my P is a little bit into my H, but that's okay. There you go. So that's that. And now to cover this up, what I'm going to do is take a scrap here. I've got a scrap of basic white, and what I'm going to do is stamp this Timid Tiger rose. This little rose petal is going to be stamped in Timid Tiger. I wanted to tell you something, and mine is going to look muddy. It's just going to, but I'm going to tell you if there's too much, see, it's not a real detailed stamp. There's not deep lines in there. So it's going to be easy to make your stamp look all muddied up like that. I'm going to go with this, but I do want to show you that, actually, I'm going to show you. Hang on a second. Let me grab a bone folder. Okay, I've got a bone folder, which you've seen that I've used this a few times already on here. You can see all the color here. What I'm going to do is push my ink out like this to the edges, just like that. And then I just went to get a cloth because I'm going to, got my wet napkin here to clean that off. And now I want to show you what's going to happen when I stamp here now. I'm going to stamp like that. And look at that. Look at that detail now. So that's your trick. If you've got something with those lines and it doesn't do a great job stamping, that's your tip for what to do to make it work. See how I pushed the ink out of the way so it's not all concentrated in the center. And now I'm just going to take my snips. I'm so glad that worked out because I was afraid that I was not going to prove a point to you, but I do want to tell you that that is a good way. If you find that your stamps have too much ink, just kind of push the ink towards the edges and stamp in the center. Okay. Here we go. I'm not being crazy critical about how I'm stamping this, but I am going to take my dimensionals that are, somebody said that they had somebody that rewound what they had done and were able to find where they set something. If you guys want to do that, just let me know. I'm only kidding. I'll use my mini dimensionals for now. I'm going to use 2 mini dimensionals. Let me put them back here. This is why I can't find anything, because I don't put it back where it belongs. I'm going to attach this right here to the edge, just like that. Isn't that pretty? And then what I'm going to do is add some glue just to the bottom. I'm going to do just like that. I suppose I could do it here too. I don't want it to, all the glue to go, and I'm going to actually center this here. Let's center this in between. There we go. Pop that up at the bottom. Ugh. Now it's going to go all over. Okay, just like that. That's what I want it to do. Stay. Glad it listens to me. We're going to add a little of this Mossy Meadow stem. And once again, the stamp set that I'm using is Label Me Grateful for some of these die cuts, okay? Mossy Meadow, just like that. And then I have a sprig of Petunia Pop here, and that's going to match some of the flowers here, just like that. Let's see how this is going to work. I may end up getting rid of, I'm going to trim this stem here. That's a long stem, and I really want the flowers more than the stem, so let's just do it like that. Just like, something like that. Ta-da. And then the last thing I'm going to do it like that. Last thing I'm going to do is just tie my ribbon bow, or a knot if you prefer. You could do a knot so that it's not so detailed. Let's do a knot this time instead of a bow. This is the gold and Mossy Meadow ribbon. It's got lovely gold on the back. If you want it mostly Mossy Meadow, like I do, kind of try to keep your gold on the back and your Mossy Meadow on the front. And here I have a nice flat little bow. And let's take our glue dot and we're going to attach that right over here. Just like that, I think. That's the plan anyway. Let's see. You can see this side is green, that side is mostly gold. I'm going to do it. The prettier side on this one happens to be on the gold side, but I want to use the green side. So we'll do it just like that. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe I like the bow better, but then it doesn't get so much in the way. Let's just, oh, I was going to say too, so when I did my die cut, you can choose how you want to use the circle. I would put a 3.5 by 4 inch piece of basic white on the back. You could even put this in the center of it and stamp there if you want, whatever you want. Save it for your next project. Don't throw any of that cardstock away. Just saying. Okay, so the back would be where we would write our message, 3.5 by 4 inches. And let's add some dots. And I've got those right here. Now my dimensionals show up. Okay, I could do the Petunia Pop if I wanted. I think this one I'm going to concentrate more on the peach. The blue, there's really not a blue here, so I'm not going to use the blue. So let's use our Petunia Pop, and we'll put one there. We'll put another little one, if I can get it. I don't think that's going to stay. I think that lost its adhesive. Yep. I pushed it right off the plastic, and then it stuck to the cardboard. We'll put one there. Maybe we could put one actually right in the center of our rose. So there you go. That is our fancy fold card. Super easy. It just sounds difficult. And you can impress all of your friends by sending them this beautiful card, which looks like you worked so hard at it. Okay, the Christmas clock is singing. I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Have a wonderful day. Keep crafting and make sure you get a card in the mail to somebody special that you are thinking about today to let them know that they're on your mind. Bye, everybody.